Hey everybody, Jared with Second Life Design. If you remember me, it's been a while. It's been a very odd year. I'm going to try and go through everything kind of as quickly as I can, but I want to explain where I've been and what's been going on and why the hell I haven't been posting any videos. It's been a wild ride this year. It's one of those things where time has gotten away from me in many ways. Outside forces beyond my control have gotten in front of me, and I've just had to roll with the punches. So I am kind of getting back to a point where I can post more videos, or I have stuff to post about. So that's my hope. Just jumping right into it. We'll kind of go throughout the year and just kind of go from there. Starting in January, you're getting out of the holidays, a little rusty, kind of slow, taking it easy. It's cold outside. I took a trip down to Dominican Republic to a big resort I've been to before. Fantastic place. Had a great time. It's a great time of year to go. When it's 5 degrees here in central Illinois, go down to a place where it's 85, 88 during the day. It's a very nice, relaxing thing, especially after the holidays. I don't know about you all, but having a nice kind of getaway with some friends and close family is a nice thing after the holidays. Going right into that, we're talking into February, into March. My day job is going to take over for the next 6 months or so, where I don't know how much I've talked about it or if anyone follows me on other social media platforms. My day job, I build museum exhibits. So I am a woodworker in the fabrication department of a company that we build and design museum exhibits, things for nature centers, for libraries, different kind of one-off construction projects, a lot of artistic things, and I do the woodworking for it. So I had, 2 big jobs that kind of came in, into March and then on into the summer, where they are far away points from home. I'm traveling. I'm in central Illinois. I went to the far northeast corner of Indiana for one job. I later in the summer went to another job out in Custer, South Dakota. So, it's like anything else where the day job takes priority, where, if I'm putting in extra hours there, I'm not out in my own shop. And that's kind of been, what happened, the first half of the year. It kind of just slipped away from me where, I go on a vacation and then it's like, oh crap, I just got work to do, just work. And it's a lot of things involved with that, because we make all the projects in our fabrication shop, but then we have to pack them all up, ship them wherever in the country, and then go install them. So that means I'm staying in a hotel for a week, 10 days. Out in South Dakota, I was staying in a cabin for 2 weeks, a lot of driving, a lot of windshield time with those. It's just a big time suck where you're just, I'm away from home, away from family, away from the dogs, and not in my shop. That's more important. What the point of this is, I'm just not working in my own shop. So yeah, my first trip went up to northeastern Indiana to Pokagon State Park. Kind of revamped their visitor center. Did a cool install there, and it's a nice thing. If you're in that area, you definitely go check it out. It's definitely not a new building, but it was a really cool install. We did some neat things and showcased some cool parts of the park, and it was a pretty good one. Get back, finish that job, and immediately, I think it was 10 days later, head out to Custer, South Dakota, to Custer State Park for the new Bison Center out there. I don't know if anyone's, I think a lot of people go to that park, especially later in the summer. And, it's right where in the Black Hills, like Sturgis, South Dakota, right in that area. The Bison Center out there, brand new facility. Our company outfitted everything in there. So it was a bare building when we started, and it is a full working structure now with, there's taxidermy in it. There are ground forms that represent the different seasons. There's a lot of work in that. We were out there for about 2 weeks, and yeah, doing that. Get back. This is getting to a point where it is, I think, we'll say June, give or take. I have to make return trips to both of those places. So I go back to northeastern Indiana, back out to South Dakota, and that's for warranty things, adjustments. We do as much testing as we can on interactive things and other, bits and pieces, but sometimes things have to be open to the public for a while before we can really know. So I go back out to those places for, for warranty repairs, replacing graphics, whatever. So that's, more of a time suck. Just for me, driving to South Dakota takes about a day and a half, and then a day and a half back. So, what is 12 hours worth of work at the facility ends up being a whole work week with drive time and all that. It's just those kinds of things where not in my shop, not doing anything in the slightest. And that is all these things that culminate in not really doing a whole lot this year. Get all the work done, get all the, the big projects done at the day job. What's really hampered me in the last few months, last few weeks, I go on a weekend trip with a bunch of friends. It's something I do annually, have a good time, just go rent a house somewhere, the lake or a river, and just have a good old time. You cook big meals and hang out, and college friends, high school friends, and do that. Had an accident, not even an accident, I did it myself. I jumped off of a dock into too shallow of water. It was an innocent mistake. I knew the water was a little shallow. I didn't think it'd be this shallow. I certainly didn't think I would break my foot. I really didn't think I'd break my foot as bad as I did. I'll drop in some pictures here of what happened, but I jumped off of a dock into too shallow of water. I landed kind of wrong on my right foot, and I ended up with the surgeon kind of stopped counting fractures. There was 5 major ones, and then a bunch of other small ones, kind of like chip little avulsion fractures, he calls them. I have a lot of hardware in my foot now. I ended up with 3 plates and 13 screws in my right foot, putting me all back together. It was in what's known as a Lisfranc fracture. It's in that midfoot of my right foot. It's kind of like where your arch is, and I really banged that up pretty good. It's one of those injuries, one of those things that, as I'm getting older, I'm getting close to 40, and you just don't think about these things impacting you the way they do. You don't have, until you go through it, you don't think about them. My right foot, I can't drive. For the first month, I'm dependent on other people to get to work, to get to doctor's appointments, to get to surgery, to whatever. I can't shower. It's all this stuff you just never envision as an adult. You just don't really think of it. Can't get in the shop, can't do anything because I'll drop another picture of my scoot. I'm on crutches or a knee scooter because I've been 100% non-weight bearing for, the last 8 weeks. I will be for another probably 3 or 4 weeks where no real weight on my right foot. So it's been, as soon as I get off, my big work projects where I'm ready to come back and get some stuff done in the house or in the shop, I can't do anything. I have to sit in a chair or lay on the couch or do something. It's these crazy scenarios that it's been 2022. It's not something I expected, but here we are. You kind of have to adapt and kind of keep it together and go with it. Coincidentally, it's also been a really slow year. I haven't had a lot of inquiries for things. Since I started woodworking, where I was doing things for other people, like projects and, for money, since about 2014, I've been pretty consistently busy, where as much as I was always able to do just as much as I wanted to. If I finished a project, I knew other people that wanted things done. I didn't really have to kind of go fishing around for work or advertising or anything. And this is kind of the first year where I have not. Even during the height of the pandemic, I was able to just continue to work. If I was laid off for my day job due to lockdowns, I was able to do more work in my shop then. So it worked out even better. But I think just due to the economy and people spending money on other things, we're out of the lockdowns and you can go to places. You don't have to worry about, you don't want to spend as much time in the house. So, it's what it is. So maybe it's kind of fortuitous. It kind of worked out well that way. But alas, here we are. It's the time just slips away for me, guys. I don't know how it happens. You start beginning of the year all fresh and ready to do things and like think of the things you want to tackle and really get into it. And I never thought that I would be, coming to the end of September and not really have a lot to show for it. Not a lot of progress made. yeah, the time just slips away from you. It's really important, I think, to stay on task and stick with things. For the last 2 years, I've had 2 giant sycamore logs in my driveway that I've been trying to mill that, I have a chainsaw that's, almost out of warranty that I don't even have 3 tanks of gas through it, just because of time, time management and just keeping busy and, being able to stay on task with things of losing daylight or staying late to work on something at the day job or weekend things, that come up, family stuff, whatever. It's just been a crazy time, guys. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to keep hammering that, but yeah, it's been the last few weeks, especially with the foot injury, has been really tough. It's been I'm not used to just sitting at home. I'm not used to just watching TV all the time. I actually picked up another hobby of sorts in leatherwork. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but I always think of other interests I would get into, and one of those, if I have time, I would do these things. And I found myself with a lot of time, where I had a month of sitting at home and nothing to do on the weekends, nothing to do at night. I need to be somewhat active to occupy my mind, and I made a wallet. I've got some other stuff I'm going to work in with that. I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. There is a lot of crossover I found from woodworking to leatherwork. You're making templates, you glue things together, you stitch them together. That's about the last difference, but the leatherworking community is really awesome. It's very, very similar to the woodworking world. There's a lot of support for things. It's a cheaper hobby for sure. For a couple $100, you could be very well set up for leatherwork stuff and have a really good time with it. And you could turn that into a moneymaker very easily. I mean, this wallet, it's like a card wallet. You have 2 pockets on each side, a pocket in the middle. From start to finish, had no idea what I was doing. Just, watched some YouTube videos. I made this in about 5 hours. So that's from cutting out the paper templates, cutting out the leather and all the pieces and gluing this all together. I hand stitched all this and I'm really happy with it. It's really cool. I'm going to do a couple tote bags and some other things to offset woodworking. When it's too cold to be out in the shop or I just don't feel like going out, I can do something else that'll still provide a little income, still have a little fun with it, and I just kind of flex the creative muscles. So I'm really happy I had that kind of in my back pocket. I had all the parts and all the materials and everything kind of waiting for when I had time. I had it in my basement for 6 months waiting until I had a free weekend. Well, I suddenly found myself with a lot of time, so it kind of worked out that way. I'm considering getting a laser engraver, a laser cutter to kind of facilitate that, bring a little automation to it. And I think it's something I could use with my woodworking as well. So, trying to make the best of a bad situation where, busted my foot up pretty good, but maybe I can turn that into thinking things differently of how I can incorporate that into my woodworking. So try to make the best of it. As far as Milling Mondays, I would love to get back to them. I don't know how much I'm going to do. I have a thought for doing some walkarounds of trees. I've got a lot of parks around me, a lot of neighborhoods and that. And I get a lot of questions consistently on my Instagram from people asking, should I mill this thing? What kind of tree is this? Is it worth it? What can I make with it? Is it worth doing? And that's something I think I can do that pretty easily on my scooter. I can, roll around parks and things and just kind of talk about some trees, assess them as I would, and, hopefully that'll help other people. I have milled enough in my time that I know what I would mill again and what I would not waste my time with. I've got enough time in where the things I milled at the very beginning are now dry and usable or unusable, and I can kind of analyze why they worked and why they didn't. So hopefully I could do that and help some other people. Especially chainsaw milling, it's so labor intensive that I think you have to be really, really wise about how much you're taking on. It's very easy to say, I want everything. Talking to tree services, like I want everything. I got to have it all. And you mill some things that they're just not. It's cool to say you did it, but beyond that, there's no real purpose behind it. There's no practical woodworking project you could make from it. So I'm trying to save some time for some people, and until I can get fully on my feet where I'm able to put 2 boots on and get back to milling or get back to woodworking or whatever, I think that'd be a good kind of filler, and I think you guys would appreciate it. It would be very easy just to put out anything related to milling, anything for Milling Monday, and I don't want to do that. Just throw a clickbaity title on it and just get you to watch and just get the ads. That's not my interest. I want to provide good information to people that's helpful. And if I don't have that, I don't want to waste your time or mine, and that's, probably to my detriment financially, but I'd rather be able to help that way. So look for those in the coming weeks. It's starting to become fall. It'll be easier to see things with the leaves are down and that, so keep an eye out for those. So we're already racking a lot of time here, guys, but I just wanted to share kind of the state of things and explain where the hell I've been. It's a very, very odd feeling, and time flies. That's all I can say. Really got to keep focused on what you're doing, because time will get away from you in a hurry. So, all right, guys, have a good week. As always, if you have any questions, you can drop them on here, or you can message me on Instagram at SecondLifeDesign. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Anything else other than that? Questions, comments, concerns, milling things, just send me a comment. All right, thanks.